Yes. What's going on, my family? What is up? What is up? What is going on, guys? Welcome to tonight's session with your boy Abel. Super excited to be here with every single one of you guys like usual. Go ahead and drop those locations in the chat, family, because we are live right now. And I'm super excited to be here with every single one of you guys that are with me tonight, family. Drop those locations in the Chizzy chat, because we're back with another one. We're back with another banger. And man, we do got a lot to talk about today, because we had a very interesting day, right? Really didn't do too much. Overall choppy day for the most part, but a very interesting day to say the least. And we're gonna go ahead and really get into the markets and really just come up with a blueprint to see what we can really come up with, guys, moving forward, going out throughout the rest of this week. Right, so let's see who we got in the building today. Shout out to Tremaine Monks. What's going on, Tremaine? Appreciate you for being the first person on the stream. Shout out to you. You guys know I love to show love to those that actually show up on time, ready to work, ready to learn. So I appreciate you, Tremaine, for actually being the first one in the chat, in the building. Definitely means a lot to me. Let's see who else we got here today, family. We got Colombo, Sri Lanka in the house. We got Philly in the building, brother. Oh, what's going on? Let's see who else we got here tonight. We got Jamaica in the house. We got the boy Skaggs checking in. What's going on? We got New York City in the building. Right, my guy Ronnie, what is up? We got Philly. We got Houston in this thing. Jacksonville, North Carolina. Dallas in the building. ATL in the building. Houston in the house. We got LA checking in. We got Rhode Island, Malaysia, Baltimore, Maryland. What's going on? Shout out to all my Baltimore family. I appreciate y'all. We got Vermont in the house. We got Cincinnati, Birmingham, Alabama. We got Hollywood, Florida, Houston, Texas. We got Phoenix in the house as well. Absolutely amazing, family, to see every single one of you guys here with me tonight. Again, it's definitely something that I truly appreciate you guys for doing, is, showing up, right? Showing up and being here with me tonight, because it's another day, another moment that we're able to come on here, guys, and ultimately get better, right? So I see we got Cincinnati, Birmingham, Alabama, Hollywood, Florida, Houston, Texas, DC in the house, Sin City. What's going on? Shout out to every single one of you guys in the building today. Absolutely appreciate every single one of you guys on the check-in, guys. So let's go ahead and really get into what we want to talk about today. We're not gonna obviously beat around the bush. We're just gonna get right into it, right, and pretty much just see what the markets has ultimately been doing. I had a very interesting day today. For the most part, the only opportunity that I ended up taking was a pound yen buy opportunity that I actually caught earlier this morning, and that one absolutely played out beautifully. I did actually closing out pretty much when we got back up to this level of structure. So I ended up catching around 30 to 40 pips, right? Overall, wasn't a bad deal. And we're going to also take a look at pound yen, guys, to see what overall we can expect, possibly going into tonight, going into tomorrow. But I want to start off, guys, by really giving you guys a bigger outlook, a bigger perspective of what I believe can actually occur for the dollar itself, right? Because the dollar, for the most part, we really didn't see no type of movement at all today, right? It was very whiplashy, very slow, choppy markets today. And I want to give you guys my insight as to what I believe can actually happen first, or what I believe can actually happen next, because there actually might be a little bit of a change of bias from a technical perspective for a short term that I want to bring to you guys as well. Because you guys know, for me, as long as, for everybody that's been on these calls, you guys know that I've pretty much been calling dollar bullishness for damn near forever, right? And I still believe we're going to be extremely bullish the dollar long term, right? From a macro perspective, a bigger perspective, I still believe long-term bullishness to come in for sure for the dollar as a whole, right? So even though I do expect dollar bullishness, just by looking at how the market is pretty much playing out in terms of price action, I would actually not be surprised, family, if we actually seen the dollar want to come down and correct itself, right? Come down to around this 102.6, 102.7 level, come into this, whatever you guys want to call it, imbalance, fair value gap, whatever it is that you guys want to call it, right? I really don't care. That's your decision to call it whatever you want to call it. But I truly believe that we're going to probably see price. There's a good chance that we could see price, guys, really come down into this zone, into this little gap right here, before we actually go ahead and continue going higher. Especially depending on how we end up, actually end up closing for the week. Like if we close bearish for the week, then I definitely believe we are going to see price eventually come down into this 102, 102.5, 102.6 level before we ultimately see a continuation back to the upside, right? Because overall, guys, you guys know my saying, if the sentiment does not change, then we stay with the overall trend or the overall flow of this market. This market, guys, has been, really, really strong to the upside. We already been seeing that. We've been expecting that. And I'm going to continue staying with that as long as the sentiment stays the same. It's just a matter of understanding that, yeah, we're not going to always just continue to see prices fly and be bullish every single candle. There are going to be periods of correction, okay, throughout this uptrend. That's absolutely normal. That's something that we should be expecting as well. So this is actually what I'm going to be really, really anticipating, guys, looking for now moving forward. Obviously, like I always say, things can change based on the data, based on what price actually does. Obviously, we can go ahead and completely change that again. But I really want to start off today's session with just giving you guys this outlook, right? Because I really did a nice in-depth analysis earlier today. And I'm asking myself, man, what can we really see price ultimately do this week? Especially since this entire week so far, we've been very, very choppy. We really have not done much at all. Like, look at these candlesticks, guys, that we've been pretty much noticing literally since the beginning of the week, right? A lot of choppiness, a lot of indecisiveness, a lot of sideways price action. And typically when we see sideways price action like this, it's usually because it's setting up for a much bigger move. But that bigger move, yes, it could possibly go in the overall bigger perspective that I would love to see, which is obviously more upside. Or all of this sideways price action that we're seeing, it could also be doing something a little bit more advanced, which could be more so like accumulating orders for price to go ahead and go lower, right? Capture all that liquidity, and then we rebound and ultimately go higher, right? So it's more so just really figuring out the best course of action, what we could really expect price to do, and then just pretty much playing with what you believe can actually happen. But just looking at the market itself, guys, and seeing how these candlesticks are playing out, I would not be surprised whatsoever if we did actually see price ultimately come down before we actually went higher. Okay, now obviously if we do end up just flying, then it is what it is, right? That's pretty much the overall outlook anyways. But just based off what we're looking at, based off the reactions in price, I'm more so leaning towards, for now, some short-term bearishness. Oh, wrong tool. Right, short-term bearishness to come in. And then once we get into this level, then from there, I would love to see price ultimately really, really come back up and start to fly for the dollar, right? I'm really going to be interested, guys, in seeing how price ultimately reacts right from this demand zone right here, right at around the 103 level, right? The 103 level itself. If we can see price go ahead and break below that level and then ultimately rebound, then I love that. I would absolutely love that. I would absolutely really take that price action, that type of play, as a reason for us to really go ahead and go long once again on the dollar, right? And that brings up a very good point, guys, right? Especially when the markets are very, very choppy and there's a lot of indecision in the markets, which again, we do have to understand, guys, the state of the world, the state of everything that we're dealing with right now from a fundamental, a sentimental perspective. Right now is a very crazy time. We talk about this on every single stream. Obviously, the things that we're dealing with inflation, interest rates going up, dealing with either risk on, risk off sentiment in the markets. And because of all of this stuff that's happening right now, right? Where right now we're dealing with, again, high inflation that we haven't seen in literally 20, 30 years. But we're also dealing with a Fed, right? Jerome Powell, who actually testified today, right? And based on what he said today, actually brought some short-term strength or short-term weakness for the dollar itself. But because we're also dealing with not just all these negative factors to the economy, but we're dealing with the Fed, right? The Federal Reserve, guys, with Jerome Powell, who's still pretty much trying to downplay everything that we are going through, right? Like even today on his press conference, he was pretty much talking about how, yes, things are bad, but it's not going to be as bad as people are thinking, right? So he's still trying to bring some type of optimism in the markets, right? He's trying to really pretty much create that soft landing that he thinks can happen. But anybody that really knows what's going on knows that there isn't going to be no such thing as a soft landing with the way the markets are right now, right? With the way the inflation is, with the way how this entire market and all these cycles play out, there's no soft landing, but he's still trying to play that role, right? And the reason for that is because he can't just come out and say, oh, guys, we're screwed, right? You got to talk about, we're talking about the chairman of the Federal Reserve, guys. He can't just come out and say, guys, oh, man, we're about to go into a recession, right? Because then that's going to cause way too much panic, way too much chaos in the market, and that is something that could really make the dollar as a whole really lose its dominance that it currently has as a global most dominant currency across the board. So Jerome Powell is pretty much, again, still screwing us overall because of what he's saying and how he's still trying to treat this thing. And because of that, the markets do not know how to react or respond. Okay, the markets are reacting and responding to the data, like inflation, higher inflationary numbers, interest rates going up, obviously, you know, quantitative tightening with them reducing the balance sheet. But it's also reacting to what the chairman of the Federal Reserve is saying, with him saying that there's still a lot of hope and a lot of optimism. So that is why we're seeing, guys, a lot of choppiness in the market as a whole. And during these times, we have to be aware of these things. Okay, and also speaking on that, that's why it's very important for you guys to understand this as well. If you guys do not have no clarity on what trades or what direction these trades can go, sometimes the best trade that you take is the one that you don't actually enter. Oh my God, we're starting with some bars today, family. Right, we're starting with some bars today. Right? As you guys can see, I got my water because it's going to be a long one. Remember what I just said, right? When there's a lot of uncertainty and a lot of indecision, right? Because now we're dealing with two factors, right? We're constantly getting negative data, but we're also getting a talking head that's giving us positive outlooks. That causes for a lot of confusion overall. And when that causes for a lot of confusion, especially if you approach the market like how I approach it, from more of a fundamental, sentimental perspective first, before technicals, then yeah, it could cause a lot of chaos and a lot of uncertainty on your own behalf when you're looking for trade ideas. And that's why it's important for you guys to understand that, yeah, you don't have to force a trade, guys, if it doesn't make sense for you. If you are not sure of what is going on and what can potentially happen, then you do not want to force the trade. Point blank, period. Okay? Sometimes the best trade that you take is the one that you never actually end up jumping into, if that makes sense. All right, so I definitely wanted to start that off with how we're going to do it today, guys. Really just pretty much setting the tone, right? Because you guys know me, guys. I really talk from a perspective where I want you guys to really look at things from what you're gonna expect or what you can go through in these markets. And that's why I really want to go through this right now. Besides that, though, a big reason why I didn't take a lot of these trades today, I did not jump in any dollar correlated pairs, because again, there's just too much news coming from both perspectives. I did take a pound yen trade, right? Like I said, and I actually want to go ahead and talk to you guys about that as well. Now, again, keep in mind what I said about the dollar, guys, right? I would not be surprised, again, and I could be wrong, right? If price actually comes back up, and I'm going to give you guys two perspectives here for the dollar, because like I said, we are dealing with, you know, a lot of choppiness. We're pretty much stuck in this range right now, right, of these two levels. But what I think can happen, ultimately speaking, I would not be surprised, like I said, if we did see some short-term weakness come in for the dollar overall, right? Come down, really pretty much test below this 103 level before we ultimately go ahead and rebound and then go back into that bullish tone, bullish trend that I've pretty much been calling out for, I mean, God knows how long, right? That's one perspective. Now, if the market itself, guys, just completely rebounds and we actually end up breaking above this 104.5 level, see, then that might actually be enough. That could potentially really send the market itself just really back into that bearish trend much earlier than I expect. Right, so again, I'm very, very cautious, guys, trading the dollar itself in dollar correlated pairs because of all the different biases that we're pretty much seeing across the board. Right, it's either you're gonna side with the side of data, which is telling us inflation is high, it's gonna stay high, interest rates going up is gonna cause the spending, or it's gonna cause it more. It's going to make it harder to actually get access to lending and borrowing, because now the cost of borrowing has went up, with this technically is a deflationary measure that they utilize to try to lower inflation. With all those factors, right, the data from all that stuff, right, that in itself usually will cause the dollar to continue to increase. But we also have the other side where we're talking about high political figures that are still trying to bring a lot of optimism, a lot of hope, and obviously they're doing that part. So again, we're like playing, it's like a teeter-totter right now, right? Trying to figure out which side is ultimately going to prevail. And when I say who's going to make this decision, it's going to be all of us, right? The investors, the big-time players, the smart money. Because the smart money right now, guys, and when I say smart money, I'm not talking about from a technical trade strategy, right? When I say smart money, I'm actually talking about smart money, the big boys, right? The decision, not the decision makers, but the people that have a lot of money, right? A lot of access to capital, right? We're talking about them, because they're the ones that's ultimately going to really shake these markets, right? The biggest institutions in the world, the biggest banks, right? The market makers, those ones that have access to a crap ton of capital, that's the smart money, right? And they're also trying to figure out what is the next course of action. And it's tough to make a long-term decision, or even it's tough to make a short-term decision because of all these different biases that we're getting, right? So overall, I'm still long-term bullish the dollar for sure. For sure. It's just a matter of when we're actually going to start to see price really go into that bullish trend. Being very patient, being very cautious, you could say, as well, because I do want to make sure that I take the most logical trade ideas at the end of the day, family. But overall, you know, that's pretty much where we're at now. Again, earlier though, I did end up taking, guys, a pretty good GJ trade, and I actually want to talk to you guys about it as well. And I also want to give you guys an idea of what I think can actually happen next for the pound yen. So I actually ended up taking a buy opportunity. All right, let me actually get the actual number of where I actually entered that. It was 166.4, right? So I ended up taking an entry, guys, literally over here for the pound itself. I did end up getting out of my position at 167.2, so it was around maybe a 70-80 pip trade that I was able to catch. And I want to explain to you guys exactly why I got into this trade, how I got into this trade, so you guys can pretty much just learn from all this, right? Because again, it's amazing for me to get these trades, but I want to educate you guys on why I actually ended up jumping in. Now, a big reason why I was also looking for bullishness in the pound yen, guys, which is why I took this trade, right? Again, I literally took it around these areas right here where this little black mark is at now. I took it because I was expecting pound strength to come in. A reason why I was expecting pound strength to come in was because of what actually happened earlier today with the with CPI data actually coming out at expected what was actually forecasted, right? We're talking about, guys, CPI data, which again measures inflation from a consumer standpoint. It actually did come out at 9.1%, which was again what was forecasted, and yeah, it could have already been priced into the markets, but we ultimately I personally wanted to take advantage of that data because I was expecting pound strength to come in, right, or to eventually end up coming in. Now, this release actually happened at around 2-3 in the morning. If you see the initial reaction, guys, to the release, we actually seen the market absolutely tank off of that data, right? The pound ended up getting weaker off of that data in itself. And I mean, anybody can make their own biases as to why that happened. Either way, I was sleeping when that happened. But when I did wake up in the morning, right, I seen what price did. We seen the sell-off, but then we seen price ultimately really come back and pretty much erase that entire move, right? We have to be able to read that type of price action, especially when we're correlating it with the data itself. So when I started to look for my opportunity, guys, when I was looking for my entry to actually go ahead and look for that long position, because again, I was bullish, right? Shout out to Grindhard. I see you in the chat, by the way, right? Definitely wanted to show love to our subscribers. Every single one of y'all that subscribe, I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. Welcome to the family, right? But what I was looking for, guys, when I actually seen price come back down to this level, right, and I actually started looking at the markets, I noticed a couple things, right? I noticed that we ended up seeing price come back up to this key level of structure right here, right, that ultimately acted as levels of support and resistance multiple times. And I was able to get an entry, guys, once we seen price pretty much spike below this low right here, right, this level right here. Let me actually gonna highlight this, right, when we actually ended up breaking below this low right here, but then immediately start to rebound. That was my entry, right? That was my entry. That is exactly when I decided to jump in. If I would have seen, if I was awake at this time at around 3-4 a.m. for London session, if I would have seen the market drop like this, I would have been looking for an entry down here all day long, right? Because I was expecting, yeah, we seen this type of weakness come in, but in my opinion, that was more so going to be short-lived. I would have looked at that. I would have looked at it from that perspective all day long, that was going to be short-lived, because again, I was expecting pound strength to come in based off the data. So I would have took the buy, but since I was sleeping, you know, I was knocked the hell out. I ended up looking at it from the morning time New York session, and once I seen the market spike below down here but ultimately come and rebound back up, I ended up taking an entry. And like I said, we pretty much rode this thing out, guys, literally for around what, 60-70 pips or so. You know, pretty much got out at a really good position. And I could show you guys as well, because I actually started doing, right, so I told you guys last week about, you know, the 50K funded challenge account that I was doing, right? I already pretty much passed both phases. I still have one more day to go on the $50,000 day or whatever, because of the 5-day rule. So I still have one more day to trade on that one. But I also ended up opening up a $100,000 challenge account as well. And the goal is for me to pretty much combine both of them so that I can have a $150,000 funded account once I pass this one. And then I'll be able to go ahead and pretty much just trade both of those accounts pretty much as one, right? Because they're able to combine it into one, right? So I ended up taking those positions, those guys, literally on this account, which I pretty much opened up at the beginning of this week, right? Literally, it's been only 2 days now, right? As you can see, I'm up almost 4% right now on this account. I got to get to $8,000 or 8%. I'm at currently almost 4%. Again, I do expect to pass this pretty soon. I do have about 2 more days left, right, on this actual account. But I want to show you guys more than anything, guys, what the opportunities I was looking at and what I actually took, right? Because if we really look at this, right, it's saying right now that I have a 50% accuracy, right, a 50% win rate when it comes to the trades that I actually took on this funded account right here, right, this specific one, okay? So, but the cool thing about it is, and this is why I talk about risk to reward and why it's so important to focus on risk to reward more than anything. Because if we actually look at the data, guys, that we have right here on the trades that I actually took, right? So these were the ones that I actually took earlier today, these pound trades, right? The ones I was just talking to you guys about, right? I was able to make, I think, like, what, $2,300, $2,400 in those 2 trades alone. But it's not even the actual wins that I want you guys to look at. It's the losses that I want you guys to look at. Small loss. Small loss, small loss, small loss, right? Like, look at these losses, right? Look at my wins and compare my wins to the actual losses. You guys see that? Go ahead, take it. Right, you guys seeing that with me? Drop some 7s in the chat if you guys are seeing this with me. Again, I don't mind showing you guys the results of these funded accounts at all, right? So that's exactly why I like doing these funded challenge. For one, just to pretty much keep me sharp as a trader, right? Keep me humble, keep me focused as well, right? And at the end of the day, I'd rather show you guys these than my actual live accounts, because I'm gonna be honest, right? My live account is my own business, right? I know that there's a lot of pocket watchers out there, but at the end of the day, that's not for you to worry about, right? But overall, look at this, right? 50% accurate. 50% accurate, but we're up 4%, right? Pretty much very close to passing the actual phase already, phase 1. So then we can go ahead and get into phase 2. But look at the losses. Like, these are small losses compared to the actual wins. That's the name of the game here, guys, right? That is the name of the game. Cut your losses short and ride your winners. That's why it's important to make sure to focus on risk to reward, so that whenever you do take losses or small losses, the wins will supersede the losses by far. Like I plan to actually pass this phase at least, because again, I do have 2 more days that I have to trade on this one. But I do plan on actually passing this phase, guys, as well. Phase 1 by the end of this week. Phase 2, I plan on passing that by next week. And then I'm going to get both of the accounts combined. So then I will have $150,000 worth of capital to trade. And then I'll pretty much keep you guys updated on all of that as well, right? And I am going to be creating videos on all of this stuff, right? Once I do finally pass the phase 2 of the $50,000 account, which again, I literally have 1 more day. I think I have maybe like 1% that I have to make as well on that. Once I pass that one, I'm going to create a video on that, an in-depth video so you guys can see it. Once I pass this one, the entire phase 1 and phase 2, I'm also going to make a video on this one. And then when I combine both of them and we get the live account, then then we get the $150,000 account, then I'm going to combine all that, and then obviously I'm going to make a video for you guys on that as well, right? But overall, guys, this is the name of the game, right? Ride your winners and cut your losers short, right? So overall, we're doing really, really good for this account. Again, I literally just got it, guys. Like, when did I got it? I got it at the beginning of this week, right? So on Monday, I got this thing. We're already up 4% on this account. Again, technically 50% accurate. But if you really look at this, I'm cutting my losers short, because typically I'm getting any of these losses that I actually took, right? These were losses that it is what it is, right? Most of the time, these losses I actually took because it wasn't even that stop loss got hit. It was because I just didn't like the price action that I was seeing, and I ended up just to get out of that position because I didn't like the price action. But overall, I really didn't get no stop loss hit at all for these trades. It was more so just me making a decision like, yo, I don't like the price action, let me go ahead and just get out while we're here. But overall, you know, again, very transparent. I wanted you guys to see this so you guys can see pretty much where we're at with this as well, right? But yeah, you know, those GJ positions, just so you guys can see that we're not playing around with this. I did take those earlier today. You know, there were some great positions. We made some really good money on those. Those was what really pretty much paid out the most. We did get another pound buy earlier in the day that we also took that played out pretty well. And then we took a USDCAD buy as well that pretty much played out pretty well. So those are the main ones that actually, you know, were the winners for me this week that did really well. All right, but now let's see what can we expect next, right, for pound yen, right? Because I know that this is a fan favorite. I know a lot of you guys love trading this pair. I personally love trading this pair as well. But now we really have to figure out, all right, what can we expect next, right? Well, let's take a look at this from the bigger perspective, because overall we have been definitely bullish, guys, for this actual currency pair. The pound itself has just been absolutely dominating against the Japanese yen. I mean, if we're being honest, almost every single currency for the longer perspective, at least this entire year, has been dominating against the Japanese yen, just because of the Japanese yen and, you know, the Bank of Japan over there and what they're deciding to do with monetary policy. You know, is pretty much tearing their currency up, making it, they're devaluing their currency like crazy. So overall, everything has been extremely bullish against the yen across the board. And this one definitely has been just that as well. Now, here's the thing that I'm really going to be looking for, guys, for the pound yen. All right, because if we look at what happened last week we actually seen a very, very drastic candlestick that was actually formed, right? Which shows at one point in the week, we were trading all the way down at around 160, but we ended up closing the week at 165. Now, when I look at things like this, and I'm looking at this type of price action, right, I'm telling myself, like, man, that is a massive move that got completely erased to end the week. And the next thing I'm also asking myself is, all right, what is this current weekly candle doing? This current weekly candle has already broken above the high of the last week, right? In my opinion, that is more bullish, a more bullish bias than anything, right? From a technical perspective, I look at that as there's a potential for price to really continue to possibly go higher. But just because I'm expecting that doesn't mean that the market probably won't give us a correction. So now I want to go down to the daily time frame, guys, and really give you guys an area of what I'm looking at personally, right? Because now we are starting to see a lot of these daily candles come in that are actually looking bearish. and we could start to experience some type of bearishness, short-term bearishness for the pound yen. And I'm really interested in seeing price come down to around this area right here, right? This 164 level, right? This gap that we have here, this fair value gap, this imbalance, whatever type of terminology you want to use, you can use it. But I really think that we could potentially see price get down into that level before we really see price go ahead and continue going higher. Okay, so overall, I am still very much bullish. And in my opinion, I think we even might end the week bullish, which again is gonna cause for some drastic bullishness to come into end the week, but it is very possible. All right, so that's pretty much what I'm looking for going into tonight, or pretty much just to finish out this week. I want to see price really come down to this 164, 163 level, and then from there, I would love to see a lot of bullishness ultimately come in and really take over and really start to see the pound yen ultimately really start to fly once again. Okay, but in order for us to really get down to that 163, we do have to break various levels. Obviously, we have this level of structure right here, guys. You know, area of structure that has acted as support and resistance in the past. You know, that we really have to break. You know, so if we see price go ahead and break below this 166 level, then we should expect more downside into that 164, 163 area that I'm expecting price to ultimately get to. All right. But again, I'm the trader that's going to be honest and be realistic, right? Does price have to ultimately get down there? No. Right? Price doesn't have to do anything that we want it to do. Price is going to do what it has to do, right? And we don't decide that. Price movement, overall direction in the market, that is not in our control whatsoever. We don't control that factor at all. Like, we don't have no control in overall market direction. So there is a chance for price to even bounce off of this level and continue higher. Right? There is a chance for that. So how would we know on what price is going to do? How can we position ourselves in a way that we're able to take advantage of these opportunities depending on which one actually shows? Well, the best way to do that, guys, is to really go to lower time frame. Because again, this 166 level, guys, is a pretty strong level of structure that we're actually playing off of. And the next thing about that is that now, since we are at an interesting level of structure down here, now we can go to a smaller time frame, like the 5-minute to 15-minute time frame, and now we come down to these time frame, guys, and really analyze what price is ultimately doing. Okay, if you believe that price could hold this 166 level, excuse me, right, then looking for a buy down at these levels is not a bad bet whatsoever. Why? Because for one, we're literally getting in at an extremely discounted price level compared to this entire last move that we've seen, right? Because this last move right here is pretty much that last impulsive move that, I mean, we've seen a bunch of little waves in the process, but this is the last demand zone that we pretty much are testing right now from a current perspective. So if you did think that this 166 was going to hold, then you could look for entries in this 166 range, stop losses below the low right here, and then the targets, guys, is going to be all the way potentially back up to the highs. Now, a reason why this could make sense for somebody that's interested in this is, again, the risk to reward that it gives you. If price is able to rebound off of this level here and start to make its way higher and just comes back up to this high, guys, that is a 4-to-1 risk to reward. Or that is a 1-to-4 risk to reward. Which means if you're risking 2 pips, or excuse me, if you're risking 2%, which is what I normally risk for all my trades, you're targeting 8% gains. Risking 2% to go for 8%, I would do that every single chance that I get. In fact, all I need is a 1-to-2 risk to reward, right? All I need is a setup that's going to give me 2% risk while also potentially getting me 4% gains. As long as I get a 1-to-2 or a 2-to-1 risk to reward, I'm in there every single chance that I get, as long as it follows my rules. Okay? But this one is giving us a 4-to-1, over a 4-to-1, 4.73-to-1 risk to reward. So not just 8%, but this is giving us the potential for almost 9% gains on this one setup, this one opportunity. So again, if that makes sense to you, and if you like the opportunity because of where we're at in structure, then that would be how you approach this opportunity. Now again, I'm not saying that we should take that right now. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying it is an area of structure that is interesting, and there is a potential for price to actually go ahead and go up there. And yeah, you know, that's how you would take it though, right? It looks good simply because of where we are in terms of structure, where we are in terms of our range as a whole. You know, we are pretty much in discounted levels. So yeah, the risk to reward is going to be absolutely really good. Now, what do I think is ultimately going to happen? I'm really indecisive, right? Again, I wouldn't be surprised if price really did fly from that level, but I also wouldn't be surprised if we seen a little bit of a deeper correction to that 163, 164 level before we actually seen price actually go ahead and rebound. And when I have situations like this, guys, where I have two potential entry points, and this is a nugget, I want you guys to really get this, right? Whenever we're at a point where you have two potential areas of interest that you actually like, there's nothing wrong with taking an attempt on both of those points of interest. Let me break down what I mean by that, right? So if I was interested in, say, taking a buy off of this level, stop loss below the lows, right? Realistically, you really want to put your stop loss probably below the swing low right here, this level right here, because this is our real last swing low. Like, again, let me see if I can highlight it for you guys. Below right here, okay? Swing low to swing high. Everything else is now more of a complex pullback. So if you were interested in this 166, 165 level, then your stop has to go below down here, right? At below 165.3, okay? And then obviously we want to go ahead and target back up to these highs, and that's giving us a 3-to-1 risk to reward for this specific example. So if we're risking, and I'm only going to put the risk up there, right? If we're risking 2% for this opportunity, okay? Risking 2% here, and hypothetically price does not actually respect that level, and we actually see more downside for pound yen, and instead, because we took that loss, now we actually look for our next entry down here at around 164, right? And then we take something like this. See, now again, we're still going to be risking that 2% again, all right? 2% risk once again right here. But I want you guys to see the potential targets for these, okay? So 2% risk right here, we're going for around 6% gains, all right? 6% gains. This one is a 4-to-1, so we're risking 2% there, going for 8% gains. 8% gains. Now, hypothetically speaking, okay, we place both of those trades. We end up losing on this one, so we lost 2% off of that one. But then we see price come down to this level right here. We do actually get an entry, and price does go in our favor. So yeah, on our first entry, guys, we lost 2%. So now we're negative 2% because of that first entry, right? But if you actually add that to the 8% that we also won on our second entry, I mean, are we still in the money? Yes or not, family? Right? Because by my math calculations, now again, math was my favorite subject, but I was always horrible at it. I'm going to be honest, right? Like, math was my favorite subject in school. It doesn't even make sense what I'm about to say, right? How can you have a favorite subject in school, but you're horrible at it? That was me, right? Math was my favorite, but I was always bad at it. So, is my math correct? Negative 2% plus 8% equals 6% gains overall. So, whenever you utilize proper risk to rewards, you're able to still take multiple points of interest and still come out on top as long as the direction eventually does play out. Does this make sense, family? Drop some threes in the chat real quick. Let me know. Let me know. Right? Let me know. Let me know. Let's see. Let me catch up with the chat. Let's see. Hello, gang. What's going on, Jim Way? How are you doing? Let's hit the like button. Trillionaires, I appreciate you, brother. Oh, yeah, definitely, guys. If you guys are getting some value so far, go ahead and smash that like button for me. Right, if you're getting some value so far, smash that like button. Let's go ahead and get all 120 of you guys on this call right now to do me one solid and smash that like button so we can get this video out to more people. Again, these are free videos, guys. I do not charge you for these at all. This is all free value. This is real value, by the way, that really a lot of people are charging thousands for, that I'm giving you guys for free. And the only thing that I would literally like in return is for you guys to smash that like button and to subscribe if you are not subscribed just yet. Appreciate you guys. All right, appreciate you guys for all liking it. Let's see what else we got here, right? Let's see what we got here. It says GBPJPY buys. Okay, we could take a look at that at the end. CAD yen also looks like an opportunity. Yeah, we could take a look at that as well near the end. Let's see. So the money they give you to trade becomes yours to own if you pass. How much are those challenges? Well, it's not for these challenges itself, right? You actually get a profit split. So once you get to your funded account, you know, you actually get, I think it's 85% of your actual profits that you make. So say I trade on the $100,000 account, on the live account, the funded, the actual live version of it, and say I make $10,000 in that first month, then I get 85% of the profits and they keep the other 15%, right? So it is a profit split that actually occurs. But with my Forex funds, every single month that you stay with them, the profit split actually gets better on your behalf. Okay, so that's pretty much how it works. Let's see, how much are those challenges? Yeah, it really does differ. Let's see, 49 is the lowest for a 5K. Yeah, thank you, Mike, for that. Appreciate you. Appreciate you for that. Let's see, is life changing? Yep. Let's see, 333, this is fire content, bro. Shout out to you, J Speed, I appreciate that. Let's see, Abel, do we cover the framework behind an entry during our bootcamp? 100% we do. All right, that's all going to be day number 4, which is technical analysis. Which is, again, this is literally just an entire day where we actually break down structure, market structure, price action. We're going to break down smart money concepts. We're going to break down all those key things that make up smart money concepts, like liquidity, mitigations, order blocks, institutional candles. We're going to break down all that stuff as well, because, yeah, that's also very, very important. Right, and again, yeah, I'm heavily focused on this channel, guys, and a lot of these shoes I'm heavily focused with really educating you guys on fundamental and sentimental analysis, because those are the overall driving factors of these markets. But technical analysis is extremely important as well, and that's definitely something we're going to talk about. On top of that, we're also going to really get you guys really understanding how to perfect entries as well. So bootcamp is going to be fire, man. Bootcamp is going to be fire. Right, let's see. I appreciate every single one of you guys that are dropping the threes. Right, I see we got maybe what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 of you guys. Right, out of 120, 11 you guys actually understand what I'm saying, and that's amazing. Right, we got to get a lot of you guys to really understand it a lot more, or is maybe just people are just not engaging right now, and that's fine as well. Let's see. SM Gaming all the way from Nigeria. What's going on, Success Crypto? I appreciate you for tuning in. Shout out to you as well. Right, but again, this is how you play, guys, opportunities that have different points of interest, because there's gonna be opportunities, guys, where you see that actually occur, right, where there are different points of interest that actually come up, and you contemplating on which one you should take might actually cause you to really miss out on the entire opportunity as a whole. So sometimes it might make sense if both of the points of interest actually are valid for you to just take both of them. One thing that you can do is also just lower your risk when you do have one of these opportunities, right? Like instead of risking, say, 2%, you could lower the risk and risk 1% and then go ahead and take both opportunities as well that way, while still staying within, you know, your risk per setup, your risk per trade perimeters that we create for ourselves, right? So that's pretty much how we do it, though, and that's how you pretty much take advantage of it. Right, shout out to you, Humber Flubs. What's going on? Welcome to the family, our newest subscriber to the familia. Definitely means a lot to me for you to be subscribed. Hopefully, I'm able to give you some value tonight and for the rest of your journey with us here today, and for the rest of our careers, whatever it is. Right, but yeah, this is what I'm looking at, guys. £4 yen. You know, again, very interesting levels. Like, again, and being realistic, there is a chance for price to, I would say, if I was looking for an opportunity here for pound yen, like this 165, 600 level, I'm telling you, like, it looks juicy. The risk to reward is juicy, right? I like it, and I'm really going to be playing off of, okay, this little order block that we have down here, right? This last little bearish, bullish candlestick sequence before the market really started to shoot up. At times, since we had a lot of momentum, a lot of volume enter the market at this period in time right here, there is a chance for price to go to that level again and give us another strong reaction. I'm being honest, going into tonight, I will be probably looking for an attempt to buy down at these levels. Okay, I'm just telling you guys this, right? 165 600s, I would not be scared to take a trade whatsoever from that level. I'm not scared for one because I'm not over leveraging. That's the biggest factor. I never fear jumping into trades, and I never fear taking a loss because I follow the rules. I'm very disciplined as a trader. I'm not going to over leverage. It's just not going to happen. Okay, so that is a chance that we could see something. But if that one does not work out, okay, if this does not work out and I lose 2% on this trade, it is what it is. Then when price comes down to this 164, 163 level, then I'll just go ahead and look for another potential opportunity to go long once again at those levels. Okay, that's how you really want to take advantage of trading, guys. Okay, don't get so caught up on, on the losses and the wins that you take, right? Don't get so caught up on those things, right? Deal with what you get, whether it's a win or a loss. You have to really react to those things in the same exact manner, okay? Because when you react to a win or a loss in the same exact manner, see, now that tells me that your ability to manage your emotions is at the high level. And as a Forex trader, your ability to manage your emotions at a high level is absolutely necessary. Like, that's a non-negotiable. You have to really be able to control your emotions at a very, very high level if you truly want to see this. Because I get it. A lot of you guys, and I do the same thing, right? At least I used to a lot more than I do now, right? But whenever I used to take a loss, it was the end of the world. I used to be so mad and so pissed off. It was crazy. But then that would lead me to revenge trade. That would lead me to do a lot of things that weren't benefiting my account overall. But it's also on the flip side as well. There was times, guys, where I would win on a trade and I would be too ecstatic. I would be overly excited, right? And that caused me to have a big head, and that caused me to overtrade, and that caused me to become overexposed. That caused me to over leverage. And it's all because of those emotional balances that we have to deal with. So it doesn't matter if you lose or if you win. You cannot attach your emotions to the results. You have to be emotionless when it comes to the results as a whole, because positive and negative emotions are not going to help you out long term. This is what they don't tell you. I'm just being honest, right? Those positive and negative emotions, none of them are good. That's why you have to be a robot. Do robots have emotions? No. Right? Robots don't have emotions. That's why you have to be robotic when you're actually approaching these markets. Right? But overall, yeah, we'll see ultimately what happens with this, guys. And yeah, we'll see what happens. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at a few other opportunities, a few other setups, and then see what we ultimately got going on as well with a lot of these other setups. And we'll come back to this pound yen in a few. Right? So let's take a look at euro dollar, guys. Again, it's very hard to want to trade. Again, euro dollar is one of my favorite pairs to actually trade, and it's because of the correlation or the negative correlation it has to the dollar, right? It's very easy to predict, especially when you have a bias on the dollar as a whole. This thing is so easy to predict, like extremely easy to predict. Okay, extremely easy, obviously, because you know what the dollar is going to do. But overall, like I said, we really haven't been doing much. Right, over the past week, we've been pretty much trapped inside of a 100 pip range, not really doing too much whatsoever. Right, no real direction in this market as of right now, because we're literally just going sideways. Like, if we look at this right now, if we look at price and see what price is doing, we're really not doing much. Okay, like, we're literally just trapped in between, this little pattern right, this little wedge pattern right now. Now, with that being said, is there something that we could do to take advantage of this? Is there something that we could do to really take advantage of a Euro USD opportunity? Well, for me personally speaking, I'm going to be looking for selling opportunities, right? Because I'm still very much expecting more bearishness for the Euro itself to come in. But the only area I'm going to be interested, guys, in looking for some shorts from is if we actually come up to, say, around this areas up here. Right, if we come up to, say, around the 106.5 level, right, 106.4, 106.5, a test back up to these areas, I would be very comfortable with looking for some shorts from. Okay, I would definitely be comfortable looking for some shorts. But right now, where we're currently at with price, I'm not really interested too much on what we're seeing here. Right, so if we could see a price to spike up maybe to around the 1.064, 1.065, then at that point I would love to see price go ahead and obviously fall over and pretty much go to hell. Right, that's my perspective. That's what I would love to see for the euro dollar right now. I am going to be, again, on the sidelines for this. I'm not going to force any positions, any trades, because I'm going to wait for the market to tell me exactly what it would like to do, and then I'm going to react to that. So if we see some bullishness come in overnight, and then by New York session we're up by here, just know Abel took that sell to look for that short. Abel took the sell, and we're going to deal with the consequences. We're going to deal with the outcome, and we'll go ahead and reanalyze the market after the actual trade is pretty much finished. But overall, guys, I do like for price to ultimately go ahead and give us a shorting opportunity here, you know, for euro dollar as a whole. All right, so we'll see what happens. You know, if we're able to really get up there, that'll be absolutely lit. That 1.064, 1.065 level does look extremely juicy. So that's pretty much where I would definitely be looking for some opportunities, guys. That's just me personally, right? I like that. I like that. I like that. Okay. So let's go ahead and look at pound dollar, right? Pound dollar is another one. Again, we have been bearish now for some time, pretty much this entire year, even the last half of last year as well. We pretty much been very bearish, and I believe we can still see a lot of bearishness to come in. It's just a matter again of potentially seeing a correction or a short-term move higher before we see this more bigger, you know, move lower, guys. So for pound dollar, what I would like to see, or where I would like to short from, would be all the way up at these levels up here. You know, 1.245 level, the 1.245 area. That's where I would really like to look for some plays from, right? Some shorting opportunities for pound dollar as a whole, right? So if we're able to see price spike up into this level, just know, again, Abel will be very interested in shorting that opportunity. Okay, because for one, it aligns with what our overall trend has been. It aligns with what we're thinking about the markets from a sentimental and a fundamental perspective. So all of that is lining up. It's just a matter of waiting for price to give you that opportunity to get it without trying to force anything. Okay, we don't want to be forcing anything in these markets, guys, right? That's what we don't want to do. If you are interested in looking for a play to take advantage of, for say like a pound dollar, euro dollar, then it has to be more of a short-term scalp or a short-term intraday opportunity, right? Like if I was looking to get into GBPUSD for more of a short-term play, then it will probably be looking for a buy off of this level right here, right? Looking for a buy from these areas that we're pretty much almost at right now, right? Like somewhere around these levels right here will be very interesting to me, you know, for some long opportunities, right? But again, for me, even me, like, yeah, I wouldn't mind taking this buy, but that's not my intentions, right? I'm more so waiting for that next sell to come in. I want to position myself for the sell, right? So I would literally wait and sit on my hands for pound dollar. I would just trade something else, maybe like a pound yen or something else that's a little bit more clear for me, right? And just hold off on this, so I'm not forcing this and trying to pretty much make money just so that I can make money. Okay, so that's pretty much where I'm at with this, though. Overall, like I said, it does look pretty decent. I'm just more interested in the actual shorting opportunity if we're able to see price come up to this 1.246 level. All right, so that's where I'm at with this. I would love to see something like that. Let's see. I appreciate all you guys for welcoming our newest subscriber as well. It definitely means a lot. Definitely appreciate y'all for sure. Let's see, fam. Shall we give some more likes for these gems? Come on, I appreciate you. Seriously, guys, I love when you guys definitely show me love by liking the video and smashing the video, smashing the like. It definitely means a lot. Let's see. Do you use pending orders? 100%, right? I actually do use a lot of pending orders, especially if I'm like gonna take an opportunity that I like say like I found a setup right now, right? Like on this stream. You know, and I know that there's a potential for it to trigger during London session, which again, I'm not going to be awake during London session. That is my time to sleep. I enjoy sleeping next to my wife, so that is when I take off I'm off of the charts, and I go ahead and I go to sleep. So if I feel like there's an opportunity that I like that can get triggered during London session, I will use a pending order so that I can at least go ahead and get involved. Okay. Shout out to Amen in the building. Amen, what's going on? Welcome to the family. That is our newest subscriber family. Go ahead and drop some welcomes in the chat. Definitely means a lot for sure. Let's see. Thanks, bro. I do that a lot. Be forcing a trade and not being patient. You got to understand, right? There's certain habits that you have to develop in order to be a professional trader. And patience is definitely one of those, right? I would say patience is probably top 3, top 4, easily top 5 habit that you have to develop, like easily, right? Patience is up there, guys, with everything else that you need to have. 100%. Okay, 100%. So patience is absolutely crucial. Let the market tell you when it's time to get in, right? Get in an area where it makes sense for you to get in. Don't force it. Let's see. Do you ever use the session volume at your zones of interest? I'm just now getting into volume, right? Really utilizing volume a lot more and just really learning how to read volume. But I'm not going to say that I'm a professional at it, or I'm not going to say I'm a master at it, because I'm just now getting into it. But I have been using it as much as possible, a lot more. One thing that I like to use personally, if I am going to use something like an indicator close or similar to volume, you know, I really like this MACD. You know, because the MACD itself, it has like, it pretty much shows you like volume as well, the MACD as a whole, right, on how this pretty much interprets it, right? But overall, even that, I don't even really use it too often. Let's see, what is the best way to trade gold? Let's go ahead and take a look at gold now, all right? And then we're going to go ahead and look at a few of these other ones as well. Where's my gold on here? All right, let's go ahead and take a look at gold and see what we got. See what we got for here. So I mean, gold has literally not done anything at all for the past pretty much entire month, right? So over a month, gold has really not done much. If you really look at this, I mean, we're pretty much just going sideways and just really just accumulating overall. Now, I actually spoke about gold yesterday and what I think can actually happen for gold, and it's very, very indecisive right now. I mean, we have this choppiness that we've been experienced, but overall, even from a bigger perspective, going back all the way to 2020, we still haven't even really been doing much, right? We had a massive run, obviously due to COVID and all the responses to COVID. We've seen gold absolutely just fly, but ever since then, we really haven't done much, right? We've been just going sideways this entire time. So gold is definitely something right now. If you're trading gold, you got to just look for more short-term scalps or more short-term intraday opportunities, intraday setups. But what can we see, or what can we expect for gold next, right? That is obviously the question that was asked. So I'm going to go ahead and just highlight a key level and show you guys where I'm pretty much thinking and what I'm looking at here for gold. And like I said, I could be wrong with this, and that's fine if I'm wrong. I have no issues being wrong, right? But overall, guys, like, this little level right here, this equilibrium at 1832, is going to be a very, very interesting level for me. Matter of fact, let me actually give you guys a little range, right? This 1826, and I'm going to say, let's see, we're going to have to go all the way. 1826 is very interesting to me, but also so is this level right here. Right, 1850s, right? So anywhere between 1826 and 1850s, right, it's pretty much like just straight choppiness. So what I would like to see for gold is either a breakout of this and then possibly going to see more upside, or a breakout to the downside as well and possibly see more bearishness. Again, I know that this is probably not what a lot of you guys want to see. This type of, I mean, this is not a bad analysis neither. It's very simple and easy to read and easy to see. But I know you guys want to be like, oh man, Abel, what's your bias? Man, are we bullish? Are we bearish? And it is very hard to determine that right now. It really is, because again, everything, and guys, whenever I say something is hard to read, it's not because of technical analysis, right? It's more so based off the fundamental and the sentimental analysis that I'm trying to incorporate these things with. Right now, there's just been a lot of choppiness for gold, a lot of indecision, a lot of sideways price action, okay? And that's probably because right now, it's hard to really determine what's going to happen to the state of the economy that we're in right now, right? It's very hard to see or what we can expect for gold to occur based on everything that's happening from, a more macroeconomic perspective, right? So overall, this just might be the best way to really try to trade this right now, right? Finding some key levels that make sense, and then taking some short-term opportunities to go ahead and trade in the direction of the actual breakout itself. Okay, that's how I would personally be trading gold. Trading in the direction of the breakout of key levels, because right now it's very hard to really figure out what is truly going to take control for gold. Let's see, I have patients running all over my house. Yeah, that's key. Can you please analyze USDCAD? Yeah, I was going to take a look at it next anyways. Well, I was going to take a look at it for sure. Let's see, Abel, can you just explain what you're thinking right before and maybe right after you enter a trade? Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's a good question, right? So before a trade, I'm just making sure that I'm following all my rules, right? Very simple, right? I have a set of rules that I created that I follow every single time, right? And I don't go against my rules, right? So I make sure that the setup itself makes sense, that it aligns with what I typically look for, which again, is it aligning with the trend? Am I entering at a key level? Am I entering at discounted or premium pricing? Am I entering based off of actual logic instead of emotions, right? Like, those are the thoughts that are actually going through my mind right before I actually enter a trade, right? Does this actually make sense from a logical perspective, yes or no? And if it does make sense, then I take that trade and I make sure that I manage my account, manage my risk correctly, and then that's it. I done my job as a trader. Like, I want you guys to really just pick up what I just said, right? 'Cause that's a gem. That's a nugget right there, what I just said. Right? Your job as a trader is to find the best probable opportunities, the most probable setups that make sense with your rules that you created, that you back tested, that you see that are actually profitable. And once you do that, and the moment you actually take that trade while following proper risk management, you already did your job. That is all you have to do as a trader, right? Yeah, during the course of the trade being open, you do have to, go through some trade management techniques or make sure that you're managing your trade correctly. But the hard part of the trade is setting the trade up, finding the highest probability setups, and then pressing the buy or sell button. That is the hardest part of this entire thing. Finding the setup, finding the opportunity, making sure it makes sense, managing your risk correctly, and then pressing buy or sell. That is the job. That is all you have to do as a trader. Once you do that, the rest is out of your control, besides obviously the trade management aspect. Right, massive shout out to Tori Doucette. What's going on? Shout out to you for being our newest subscriber. I appreciate you for subscribing to the channel. Definitely means a lot to me for sure. Right, but family, do not overlook what I just said. Right, our job is usually done as soon as we enter that trade, as long as we followed all of our rules. Everything that comes after that, like the outcome of the trade, that is out of our control, right? Because before we even place a trade, we should always know where our stop loss is going to be and where our take profits are going to be. Those are things that we always know exactly where they're going to be at. Those are the controllables in this game, right? There's uncontrollable measures and then there's controllable measures. All of our rules and our setup and our stop losses and our take profits and our entries, all of that is controllable. All of that should be found out way before you even enter the trade. So once you enter that trade, you already did your job as a trader. Now it's just all about you having discipline and patience to let the trade play out, and then obviously do a little bit of trade management with moving stops to break even, moving it into profit as the trade is actually going. That is the job, guys. Man, does this make sense? Drop some 6 in the chat. Right? Again, I love to ask you guys questions. I love to see who's engaged right here. I love to see who's actually paying attention, who's getting nuggets. Right? Drop a 6 in the chat. I really believe that a lot of you will see a lot more success in your trading once you realize exactly what I had just said right now. Like, I truly believe it. Right? I truly believe that a lot of you guys will see a lot more success if you actually call it a day after you actually finally press buy or sell. Because once you press buy or sell, everything that happens after that, that's out of your control. You already did your job. You already did everything you needed to do. So do not mess it up. Do not mess your trade up because you're trying to micromanage your trade way too much. You took the entry based off logical decisions, based off it making sense. Let the trade do what it has to do, family. Let it do what it does. Don't try to over micromanage it. Let it do what it does. Okay. So again, for gold, like I said, it could go either direction at the end of the day. All right, so let's go ahead and see what we got here, guys. Take a look at USDCAD. Now, again, I am personally bullish USDCAD. I would love to see price ultimately really continue flying, but if we're really looking at USDCAD, guys, from a bigger perspective, I mean, I really don't know if that's truly going to happen, right? Because right now we're at very interesting levels, guys. I mean, we're talking about daily levels right now of structure. You know that that's been holding pretty strong, right? Holding very, very strongly. And there is an opportunity for price to actually go ahead and really continue to see more downside off of this key level of structure that we have here. Again, my opinion of it potentially being bullish is literally just because, again, dollar strength, which is what we've been expecting, what we've been seeing overall, right? I love to see dollar strength. But, you know, again, this market, guys, overall, like, again, don't look what we've been doing. Right? We've been going very much sideways, very much choppy for literally the past 2 years. Right? We really haven't had too much of a overall directional flow for this currency pair as a whole. And also, everything that's happening with oil as well is literally affecting this currency pair as a whole. So I think personally, right, as much as I am bullish the dollar long term, right, I do believe that there is a chance for price to really go ahead and roll over back down to the downside. All right, I truly believe it. Let's see, slow motion better than no motion. 100% Stackavelli. 100%. Let's see, this clown's 100% clueless. That is a fact. Shout out to you, Wall Street Insider. Exposes clowns, cons, and frauds. I appreciate you. Thank you for tuning in. It means a lot. All right, it means a lot. I appreciate you. Let's see, that was some fire. 100%. Let's see, I need to work on that. I be staring at the chart like I can move the market with my mind. Yeah, Kyle. Right, that's why, like, for me, what I used to do, actually, I still do it today, right? Especially whenever I feel like I want to start micromanaging my trades too much. I literally get off the charts, right? I literally get away. I close my MT4, and I literally put my mind on something else, right? Like I either play Call of Duty, get crazy on Warzone, or I watch a movie, watch some Netflix with my wife, go play with my kids, right? Like I put my mind on something else, right? And that's something that's hard for us to do, okay? That is something that is hard for us to do, right? When we are actively in a trade, it is actually very, very hard to stop thinking about that trade because you're emotionally attached to the outcome of that trade. But as a professional trader and as a profitable trader that you aspire to be, you cannot be attached to the outcomes of the trade. So in order for you to really get better at that is when you actually enter a trade, you have to set it and forget it. Set the trade and forget about it. Set it and forget it. Set it and forget it, right? If you guys were ever a part of IM, right, when I was educating for the platform, you know, when I was teaching for DeLorean, we actually had an entire product, right? We had an entire product that literally was all about set it, forget it, right? Sci-fi, right? It was literally called sci-fi for set it and forget it because it was a set it and forget it type of product. That's what you really need to do in the markets. When you feel yourself really getting into that micromanaging stage where you feel like you have to try to manage everything, no. Let go of markets. Close your MT4. Go spend time with your wife and kids, your husband. Go spend time with your kids. Go to the park. Go play some basketball. Go play some Call of Duty. Go play some Warzone. Go play something, right? Just get your mind off of it so you can allow that trade to do what it has to do. Because the more that you micromanage it, the more likely it is that you're probably not going to actually get the results that you're after. Okay? Let's see. Thank you for your advice. I tweak my trades too much and end up nowhere. Yeah, it happens, D-Razzle. It literally does happen, right? Again, I went through that as well. Crazy. Let's see. Where's the possible position trading, sir? I'm from Indonesia. What's going on? Shout out to you out there in Indonesia. Right? What do you mean? Where's the actual entry point itself? Right, again, I'm showing you guys general areas, of where we could potentially see. Like, I would not be surprised, guys, again, if USD-CAD actually does really start selling off from these areas right here. You know, the best opportunity to catch a trade for USD-CAD would have been probably back up at these highs when we just rejected. All right, but again, I would not be surprised. It's just USD-CAD, it does have the potential to really start moving during this session, but ultimately, you know, I want to trade USD-CAD during New York session. Right, at least London session, but definitely probably New York session. So going into tomorrow, depending on how we actually, or how I wake up in the morning, and depending on where USD-CAD is at in the morning, you know, I will probably be looking for a shorting opportunity. Right, literally, that's what I will be looking for personally. Let's see, for me, I'm looking at a head and shoulder pattern USD-CAD if I am right. I mean, it definitely is there, right? Obviously, this is the very obvious, you know, head and shoulder pattern that I'm pretty sure everybody could see. You know, we got this left shoulder right here, head, and now we got the right shoulder as well being created, and it's there. Yeah, it's there, right? I'm not gonna say don't trade the patterns, because the patterns do be valid at times, right? So yeah, the head and shoulder pattern is there, and it could potentially really hold weight, and it is a potential for price to go lower from that. But again, I do think that we do see price probably go lower from these levels, right? I would love to see price go ahead and take out these lows, and then possibly even come down and take out these lows as well. Let's see. You said it the other night, though. Most don't use a stop loss, so they're nervous. 100%, right? Most don't use a stop loss because they're nervous, and most also just. This is the thing, right? You could use a stop loss, right? You could use a stop loss and still be over leveraging. All right, so yeah, it's important to always use a stop loss, because that stop loss is like your insurance plan, right? In case you're wrong, you want to make sure that you get out to protect your account. But people are still over leveraging even with a stop loss, right? So again, it's a two-part process, right? Yeah, you got to make sure you have a stop loss, but you also got to make sure you're not over leveraging. So if that stop loss gets hit, you're only losing a fraction of your account. Let's see. Wall Street Insider exposes you're not going to turn anyone against Abel. We all know this is value. No D gang. Shout out to you, Kyle. I appreciate it. I mean, this is the thing about you know, hosting public calls on these public channels and these public how would I put this, right? Public things like YouTube, right? Anytime somebody tries to provide massive value on YouTube, there's always gonna be some haters. Right, there's always gonna be people that try to diminish what we're doing here, right? And you know the saying: if you ain't got no haters, you ain't popping, family, right? And that's honestly the truth, right? And the thing for me though, if you guys noticed, whenever we do got a hater in the chat, which again, I've only had one hater in this chat, in this community, and it's been the same exact channel, right? Wall Street Insider exposes clowns, cons, and fraud, right? It's been the same as that person every single time, and it's very easy just to block them. But I actually want him to learn something. All right, I actually want them to learn something. All right, so for me, I don't pay no mind to that. All right, I don't pay no mind to that. I actually encourage the haters to stay on so that they can learn a thing or two. And the thing about it is, if they were actually knowledgeable, in this, they could tell that just by how I'm talking that I know my stuff. But they don't. They just want to they just want the attention. But you know, we bigger than that. We respond back with love. Right, we respond back with value. We respond back with education at the end of the day, and that's the best thing about it. Let's see. I want to be proud like the next trade. I think that's a part of the issue. 100%. It could be. Abel, what's your thought on the tax reduction on gas? I think it was said today in Jerome's speech. That's a good question, right? Obviously, gas itself is going to pretty much affect not USDCAD, but it's going to affect oil as a whole. And who knows, right? Like, I really don't know exactly how that's going to really affect the markets, right? I don't want to, be here and try to make something up just to sound like I know it all, right? Because I really don't know. I'm really not sure how the market is going to react to that, right? Because of the whole tax thing, right? Again, it's not like they're removing oil or they're removing gas from circulation. No, they're just literally removing the tax that they actually get on it. Now, that as a whole, removing the tax is probably just another way to in my opinion, is probably just going to tighten up the monetary policy even more, right? Because now they're not going to be collecting that revenue, which is typically stimulating the economy. But overall, like I said, I really don't know how the market is going to react to that. Let's see. Don't waste your time talking about haters. You're right, brother O. you know, we respond with love though, right? I don't mind talking to the haters because I'm always able to respond with love. Right? Again, I've been doing this for way too long now, educating, right? I've been educating for 4 or 5 years now, and I done seen it all. I done heard it all, right? Every single time, I've always responded with love, and that's why I feel like I've been able to continue to grow and just blossom. Let's see what else we got here. Haters are obsessed, fans 100%. Positivity always. Even Jesus and Muhammad was hated 100%. All right, hater having anger towards everyone reaching success. There we go, BTC mommy. You know it. You know it. You know it. Right, let's see Abel. So because dollar is headed for a minor pullback and a bearish trend, USDCAD will pull back as well. Yeah, that will be the thought process from more of a correlation perspective. Yeah. Right, from a correlation perspective, that's what we should expect, right? Because obviously if the dollar itself is decreasing in value, USDCAD should decrease as well because the dollar is the base currency in the actual pair itself, right? Because whatever we're doing, guys, when we're trading currency pairs, we're trying to figure out what the base is going to do with the quote. If the base currency is gaining strength, then that will cause the currency pairs to increase in value. But if the base is losing strength against the quote, then that will cause the price of the asset to actually decrease. So yeah, that's pretty much how we would look at it from more of a correlation perspective. 100%. All right, so we did look at USDCAD. We looked at pound yen. Very interesting opportunity here. Let's go back to pound yen, guys. Look at pound yen as a whole and just look at how we're reacting right now. Right, we are seeing price give us a nice little reaction from this level. Like I said, man, if we were to react, guys, if we were looking for some type of bullish reaction off of this impulse, off of this trading range, and down here would have probably been the best opportunity. Right, and as you can see, I mean, look at this, right? We had a very strong move down that got completely erased with this big wick. We got the engulfing. And again, like I said, I would not be surprised, like at all, if price actually started going higher from these levels. Like, I would not be surprised at it at all, like whatsoever. Right, but I also wouldn't be surprised if we seen a deeper correction as well. And I know that that's a little confusing for most people, but that's how it happens, right? So overall, GJ's definitely doing this thing. Let's see what we got here. We show them more love will make them change. 100%. 100%. Hey champ, I realized the equities have been gaining some strength. Any citations? That's a good assumption, right? And that's also something pretty much is going in with what we've been talking about with the dollar as well, right? Because you got to think about it, guys. Whenever the dollar is gaining strength, the indices are typically losing strength. And vice versa. Whenever the dollar is losing strength, the indices are typically gaining strength, right? And that's because of money, flowing from one hand into the other, right? It's either people are going to be heavy sitting on cash, or they're going to take that cash and invest it into the indice market, right? So most of the time, they're usually going to do the opposite for that matter, right? But overall, I mean, yeah, we've been seeing some short-term strength, like even this morning, right? And again, I want to show you guys this. All of this right here, guys, was pretty much caused based on what, how people were interpreting Jerome Powell's speech today, right? Because Jerome Powell, guys, he was talking today, and he was, pretty much trying to bring a lot of confidence back into the economy, a lot of confidence back into the Fed. And clearly, whatever he was saying, the markets were liking, right? Because the market started responding in a bullish manner because of that. But in my opinion, I expected it to actually be short-lived, right? Again, I'm still very much bearish, guys, these indices. So anytime that I see the market as a whole rebound, that's me looking for more of an opportunity to go ahead and start looking for some more shorts. I didn't take no opportunities here, unfortunately, right, on these actual setups here. But that's what I should have been looking for, right? Because, again, all of this increase was literally just because of how people were reacting or responding to Jerome Powell's speech. But as you can see, we did have the initial strong push up that occurred throughout the course of his speech, but then the market as a whole pretty much really started to tank. So coming into tomorrow, guys, I would not be surprised if we see price come up to, especially for the S&P 500, I would not be surprised if we see price come up to this 3780 level, and then we see some shorting opportunities from that 3780, right, to really go ahead and eventually send us lower. That's just my opinion, right? Now, as for US 30, it's going to look very, very similar, right? A lot of these indices, guys, look very similar across the board. Even the indices across the seas as well look very similar, right? So for US 30, 30,635 would be a nice opportunity to go ahead and go short and at least target back down to these lows. And then we have NAS 100, again, very, very similar. If we can see price come up to this 11,600 range, 11,600 will be a nice opportunity to go ahead and short, also targeting right back down to the low of this level right here, right? But overall, I would love to see the price spike up to then we can go ahead and sell it off, because I'm still very much bearish these assets. It's just right now, again, the state of the economy, right? We're talking about dealing with negative data, but also dealing with a positive head figure in Jerome Powell trying to still bring confidence. And that's why we're seeing a lot more sideways price action occurring. But look at this, guys. It's not even just the indices over here in the US, right? Like, this is the indice over there in the UK that measures, the stock market over there, right? Similar concept, right? Very much very similar plays. Again, I expect still more bearishness to come in for this. We actually did see a nice little correction in this market. But for the FTSE, I could still expect more downside as well. Even for the EU 50, very similar concept, right? Definitely looking for more bearishness to come in as well, even for this one, right? Overall, I'm still very much bearish a lot of these indices. It's just a matter of looking for the right entry if that's what you want to take advantage of. Now, again, just keep in mind, though, for this, right? If we do actually start to see a deeper correction for the dollar, okay, which is what I'm expecting, we could see a correction for the dollar. If we do see that, then again, there could be a possible correction for the indices as well. And if we do see a correction in the indice market, then again, it is what it is. But I will be setting up for the next overall big sell-off. My first initial play that I will be looking for will be to look for some shorts from this area here. But then if we break this entire little triangle pattern, then I'll be looking to short around the 4,000 level for the S&P 500. Let's see. Abel is thick-skinned in a good way, 100%, right? 100%. You got to be thick-skinned, right? Especially if you want to be on a position like this on YouTube, or if you want to be a mentor, an educator, a content creator, an influencer, whatever you want to. You have to be thick-skinned, right? Because there's always going to be people out there that want to try to diminish what you're doing. Let's see. Will you take up? Sincere gratitude for your time, King Abel. I appreciate you too, brother O. Let's see. So would it be fair to form a bias that the currency with the higher interest rate should gain strength versus the weaker? Yeah, you could definitely do that, Oscar, right? That's also something that we're going to talk about in the boot camp as well. For everybody that's going to be a part of it, is the interest rate parity, right? Interest rate differential, and how you're able to utilize that in a way to really predict what the markets can do. That's a big reason why I'm also expecting the pound yen to absolutely fly, and that's why, like, I don't expect too much weakness for pound yen to come in, because the pound has such a higher interest rate compared to the Japanese yen that it's much more attractive to actually hold the pound against the yen. So yeah, I do believe we could. That's a good way to really analyze the markets for sure. I see. Because of the risk-off sentiment, I didn't buy the indices today. I waited until the end of the day when it hit a conviction zone in the fib. There we go. Right there we go. That's a good way to do it. 100%. All right, but overall, guys, like I said, man, it's been a very interesting week. We really haven't done too much whatsoever. As you guys seen through, the actual funded account, I only took maybe like 5-7 trades so far this week. A lot of them did actually take either minor losses or small break evens. Literally half of the trades that I took actually took small losses, and the other half was break evens. But then the other half's absolutely played out tremendously. So overall, it's been a very interesting week. Very choppy though, and that's just something to expect. I do want to go ahead and actually show you guys what we do have to expect for the rest of this week in terms of news. Okay, so this was all today. Tomorrow we do have, again, Jerome Powell also going to be testifying again. He's going to be talking again at 10 a.m. Eastern. That's something that we have to pay attention to. But in terms of the pound and the euro, guys, all this PMI data that's getting released, right, is definitely going to probably, really shake the markets as well, right? PMI data, guys, PMI stands for Purchasing Managers Index, right? It's pretty much an index that tells you what all the biggest, how do I put this, right? It's like the people that are actually doing all the buying for big corporations and big, entities, the people that are actually purchasing the things, they actually give you their insight on what they think the market is going to do, right, with the PMI data. And that in itself does affect these markets, right, because that is a way to really see what the purchasing power can actually be like moving forward. So all this PMI data that's getting released could bring some strength for the pound. So that's something you definitely want to be aware of. We do have the initial jobless claims coming out as well tomorrow, right before Jerome Powell. We do have oil inventories getting released as well. And then to end the week, we pretty much have retail sales for the pound and then new home sales for the dollar as a whole. So that's pretty much what we got, guys, for the rest of this week. Now, again, please, if you guys are not a part of my Telegram just yet, guys, make sure to be a part of my public Telegram so that you guys are able to be updated on every single call that I do, every single piece of value information that I get that I personally want to share. I always share it right in my Telegram, and I highly recommend you guys to make sure to go ahead and be in there so that you guys can also get access to all that information, guys, that I pretty much be providing value in. And trust me, my Telegram is pretty lit, right, because we be talking a lot of good stuff in there, and we just be providing a lot of massive value. Let me actually go ahead and I'm not sure why the actual Telegram link is not coming up, but let me get you guys that, so that you guys have access to it, because again, it is absolutely important to be in there, right? So make sure to go ahead and join that Telegram family so you guys have access to it. For anybody that is a member of this actual YouTube community and you're not in the inner circle, the private Telegram, please send me a message so we can get you added in there as well. And yeah, let's see, you left IML. Weren't you an educator? Yes, I was an educator for IML. I actually left at the beginning of this year. I decided to step down as an educator so that I could focus on doing my own thing, building my own brand, and pretty much just running things how I felt like I needed to run so that I could really provide the most value possible, right? But 100%, I used to be a part of IML, but now I'm here a part of YouTube Academy. And I'm definitely glad that I made this decision to go ahead and leave and do my own thing, because I truly like this. I truly love this. I love being able to educate. I love to be in this position to really just help people grow and really just get better with this skill set overall. All right, let's see. I learned so much from you. Thank you for everything. I appreciate you, Kaya. I really do. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure to be subscribed. I'm pretty sure you are, or else you wouldn't be able to comment. But yeah, stay tuned, man, because like I said, man, we're about to really turn things up here on YouTube, guys. Like, I'm going all in with YouTube. This is literally my full-time job now, is pretty much providing content for you guys on YouTube. And I look forward to really providing you guys with massive, massive value, continue moving forward. So make sure to tell a friend, to tell a friend, to tell a friend that I'm here. They don't got to go and pay no money nowhere else, because I'm going to give you guys the real, the raw, and exactly what you guys need to really take things up a whole nother level. Let's see, funny Forex story before you go. Yeah, go ahead and tell me what's up. Tell me what's up. Let's see, I recall meeting you when you came to Philly 2 years ago. Shout out to you, brother O. Shout out to you, man. I look forward to meeting you guys again, man. I look forward to seeing all of y'all. Right? I look forward to seeing all of y'all, man, because I've done so many different events, guys, over the past 4.5 years of me being a part of IM. I did countless events where I've taught in front of rooms of 5 people, and I've taught in rooms in front of 5,000 people, right? I've taught in different countries, right? Like, one of my favorite experiences was when I went to Trinidad and Tobago about 2 years ago. And I was able to talk in front of 3,000-4,000 people out there in the Caribbean, right? For the Caribbean convention that was out there. That's one thing that I love doing, is actually being out there in the streets. I like being outside, just really being out there with everybody, right? So starting next year, I will be traveling a lot more, and I will be going to your city, to your hood, to your location, to give you guys this sauce in real time, because I do plan on doing a lot of more in-person boot camps, right? Because you know how we're doing this 5-day boot camp this weekend coming up, or this week coming up. Well, next year, I'm going to be doing in-person boot camps, right? Where I'm going to get an Airbnb for the team, for whoever actually decides to lock in. We're going to get a big-ass Airbnb, a nice location, a mansion, or a penthouse, or something nice that you guys can actually enjoy. And yeah, we're going to do an in-person 5-day boot camp where I'm just going to be there with you guys in real time, in person, pretty much providing massive value to help you guys get to the next level. So I don't know if any of you guys will be interested in something like that, but that's definitely going to be in the plans going into next year. And I look forward to doing that. It's going to be dope. It's going to be dope. All right, let's see how to join the private group. So to join the private group, all you got to do is be a member in the actual community here on YouTube, right? So right next to the subscribe button, there's going to be a join button. You go ahead and click one of those memberships, and then you send me a message on Instagram, and I will go ahead and get you added. All you gotta do is just show me proof. Show me proof that you actually are a membership by going to your memberships on YouTube and just showing it, taking a screenshot, and then I'll go ahead and add you into the chats. Let's see. I need to be added to the private chat. I am in the public one. I got you, Martha. Just send me a screenshot of the membership, and I will send you it immediately. Immediately, I'll send you it. For sure. Let's see. I love the way you analyze market structure. I appreciate that. Me too. In Vegas, Unleashed, I made sure to say hi, Abel. What's going on? It's amazing, man. I'm pretty sure I probably did meet a lot of you guys in person, which is absolutely amazing. But I want to re-meet you guys in person again. Oh, I'm asking you. Oh, you want a funny story from me, right? A funny. I'll save the funny stories for the next time, right? I got you, 20 Pip Savage. I got you. Let's see. How do you say we get access to the channel, bro? By clicking the join button. Clicking the join button, and then you guys get access. Let's see. Do you recall talking to is outside? I'm pretty sure if I see your face, brother. Oh, I think I actually got you on Instagram, right? I'm gonna look at your Instagram because I'm pretty sure by face I remember, right? I'm not good with names, but I'm definitely really good with faces for the most part. So I got you. Let's see. We out to Tempe and Miami. 100%. Tempe, Arizona is gonna be on the location. Miami is definitely gonna be, one of the in-person boot camps. That's gonna be absolutely lit as well. And yeah, it's gonna be absolutely fire. Let's see. You and PJ's teaching when I was in the academy was right on my learning curve. Amazing, amazing. But family, I appreciate you guys. I love y'all for rocking with me tonight. It was another dope session. Again, we will be back tomorrow, same time, same place to finish out the week, because I do these live streams every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and I will continue to do these guys until the time, for the time being. Honestly, this entire year I'm doing these live streams no matter what. Going all in with you guys. All right, so I hope you guys are able to continue to get value from me, and hopefully we're able to really create a lot of profitable traders through this stream. Let's see. Any thoughts on the likes of Peter Schiff, the crypto critic? They want BTC to go zero. Yeah, I mean, Peter itself, that's just one of the guys that I would say is more so still in the old age, where he just loves gold and thinks gold is the almighty everything, right? You gotta be mindful of people like Peter. Again, it is what it is, right? They're just old school. He does have a lot of valid points though. I do watch a lot of his content. Just because he does make a lot of valid points in terms of, at least gold being tangible, gold you could wear, things like that. Where compared to Bitcoin and cryptos, it's all digital. Let's see. I never had the opportunity to meet you yet, but I've been learning from you since I joined IML 4 years ago. Relapsed after month 1, then just learned from YouTube since. Okay, yeah. Now shout out to you, Anthony. I appreciate you that you're here with us now. Right, I'm pretty sure we'll meet in person someday. Right, 100% we'll meet soon. Right, so family, I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. Thank you guys for rocking with me. Again, tomorrow is gonna be my last stream of the week, and then next week is gonna be our actual boot camp. So I'm not gonna be streaming at all next week because my focus is gonna be with all the boot camp students next week. So please, if you want access to the boot camp, make sure to send an email to the email in the description below. Make sure to fill out the form as well, and I'll send you all the information on how you can actually go ahead and secure your spot for the boot camp going into next week, because next week we go all in. It's going to be next level information that's dropped. It's going to be game-changing information. Like, I'm very confident, guys, that the boot camp as a whole is not going to create just profitable traders, but we're going to create the next round of mentors. We're going to create the next round of coaches. We're going to create the next round of success stories that end up teaching other people how to become success stories, because that's how lit this bootcamp is about to be. So make sure, if you want access to it, fill out the form in the chat below, in the description below. Fill out the form, and then send me an email ASAP to the email in the description, and we'll go ahead and get you all the information on how to secure that spot. Family, I appreciate you guys. I love you guys, and I'll see you guys all tomorrow. Have a great rest of your night. Let's get it.